Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harris and I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books, and today we're going to discuss some fantasy and science fiction books, specifically the ones that I read in August. So, my hands touched a lot of books last month, but 4 of them got some significant reading time from me, and we've got a mix of sci-fi and fantasy and I don't know actually what you call it. I think it's still fantasy. We'll get to it when we get to it. So, this month I read quite a lot of fun stuff. You've seen the reviews for 2 of those books, and let's get right into things, and I will talk to you about everything I've read. So, let's go. I started the month off with... did I start? No, I started the month off with Dark Age by Pierce Brown. So, this is the 5th book in the Red Rising series, the 2nd book in the sequel quadrilogy, which is a multiple point of view story rather than the single point of view we got in the original trilogy. This quadrilogy sees the universe kind of struggling with the new status quo from the end of Morning Star, and Darrow and our favourite, friendly psychopaths in his inner circle are, I would say, struggling more than most in some ways. Dark Age was a bit of a mixed bag for me, because I really did not enjoy part 1 of the book. Luckily, the book had multiple parts, and every other part was much better. I really liked the place that we left the story at the end of Dark Age. I especially loved all the stuff with the Obsidians, and I really loved Ephraim and Lyria's stories. And I'm really looking forward to reading Lightbringer, which is the most recent, and it's going to be the penultimate book in the series. Now, I don't know when I'm going to read that, because I'm doing self-pub September again this month. So for the whole of September, every year I have read exclusively self-published books. Now in 2024, I actually cheated a little, and I think I read a Wheel of Time book because I felt like I needed to get back on track with the read-along that Matt and I were doing. But obviously I didn't actually need to do that, because we're like, God knows, I've just finished A Memory of Light this month. That's the next book we're going to talk about. And that was 20 months since we started the series, so maybe I didn't need to rush. But yeah, so I won't be reading Lightbringer this month. October, I want to try and get some horror books in. And I want to start the Malazan... what's it called? Book of the Fallen. Malazan Book of the Fallen, the main Malazan series by Stephen Erickson. That is the big project now that Wheel of Time is out of the way. And let's go and move on to book 2. So, Dark Age, I did end up giving a 4 out of 5. Most of the book was 5 out of 5 quality, but the fact that I almost DNF'd it in the first 100 pages meant that I didn't feel like I could give it a higher score than 4 out of 5. And I really did actually dither a little bit between 3 out of 5 and 4 out of 5. I'm looking forward to the next book. And I kind of want to see where we've left it with Red Rising, because obviously the final book is not out. I think that... I think I've heard that next year is when we're getting that final book. So... I'll be ready for it, at least. Next up, I read A Memory of Light. Now, my review for this went up on Monday, and it was a really interesting review, because there's so much that you want to talk about with A Memory of Light, but there's actually quite a lot of A Memory of Light that I didn't really feel like I could talk about. So I kind of talked around like how I felt about the emotions I felt reading it and finishing the series, and how I felt about the characters, and how I felt that the ending was done very well, And I'll tell you now, A Memory of Light is my book of the month. It's the only 5-star read I read last month, so it's pretty much a no-brainer anyway. But really, really liked the way that the series ended. Really, really liked. I think Sanderson, as we all know from reading books like Oathbringer and Wind and Truth, is very, very good at doing big climactic battles where lots of things are happening at the same time. And that's basically this whole book. You could see a huge inspiration from A Memory of Light was probably taken for Wind and Truth. They reminded me a lot of each other. Although I would say, I think Sanderson's Wheel of Time books might actually be his best books. I'd have to go back and think about it. Because, like, most of the other books, I'm like, oh, there's this, I wish this had been done, or this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Whereas with A Memory of Light, at least, I really only had, like, one issue with those books. And I'm really looking forward to talking to Matt about it. He's still reading, and I'm trying not to influence him too much by asking him loads and loads of questions. But yeah, really looking forward to hearing how he feels about it. So, after A Memory of Light, I started reading a couple of books, actually. So I started reading Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. And the edition that I have of Northern Lights is one that was very kindly gifted to me. And I'll show it to you now, actually, seeing as we're all here together. It is this illustrated edition. The illustrations are amazing. See if I can find... There's been a few like double page spread illustration. In fact, this is actually a really good example of the kind of illustrations. Like, genuinely, they take up like huge chunks of the page. I've been reading this pretty slowly, mostly because it's very heavy. I'm actually way further than I thought. I thought I was further back than this, but I'm now about 2/3 of the way through. So I'm at page 161 out of 277, so 100 pages left to go. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to finish this before September started, or like within the first couple of days of September, but it's already the 2nd, and I don't know if I'll have time to finish this today. So it'll probably end up being one that I'll finish by the end of the week, but I don't know how quickly that's going to be. And you may have guessed that because I'm reading this one purely physically, I picked up an audio-only read. So my audio-only read for Northern Lights was Gate of the Feral Gods by Matt Dinniman, which is the fourth Dungeon Crawler car book. I rated this one a 3 out of 5. This book is so, and like the previous book as well, these books at the moment are so into the micro story of what's going on the level of the dungeon that they're on. And I feel like we don't get any of the like larger macro story until like the final quarter of the book. And by that point, I've like, I don't want to say I've checked out, but I'm just like kind of sitting with it in the moment and enjoying the like jokes and the action and stuff. And I'm less up for the stuff that I like the most, which is the macro storytelling. It's such a dichotomy, these books, because like the act of reading, so when I'm listening to the audio book, I'm chuckling, I'm smiling as I'm going along, and I'm enjoying the read. And then we'll get to like a big section where I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of important, this has got a big effect on the whole macro story, and like it's taken so long to get there that I'm just kind of less interested in it overall. The book is good. I would not have finished it if it was a bad book or a weak book, but I feel like it's not giving me what I want. So yeah, nothing bad about the book, and this rating is very subjective from a like what I am interested in level. This kind of feels like a lot of this stuff is like Monster of the Week, and what I really want is the like mythology episode. So I don't know if you know, if you're my age, if you're millennial and older, you probably watch the X-Files. And one of the big things with the X-Files is they split their types of episodes into like Files, you know, straight up Monster of the Week episodes, and then mythology episodes that dealt with the whole alien invasion storyline, and like Mulder's sister and all this sort of stuff. And that those mythology episodes are 10 times more interesting to me than the Monster of the Week episodes. I'm sure that for 99% of other people it's the other way around, but for me, I really want to know what's going on in the wider galaxy and the bigger story stuff. I just want more of that. And sadly, Book4 did not give me that. I have been assured in the comments on my weekly updates that is definitely coming up. Like, the books are just more and more about the overarching macro story, which is great. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's why I'm continuing with this series. And I'm really looking forward to getting a few answers to some questions that I currently have that I feel like have been teased across multiple books now, and I just kind of want to know. So yeah, a good book that I wished focused on different stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are the 4 books that I read in August. Dark Age I actually started at the very, very, very end of July. What I'm going to be doing with my monthly updates is I'm going to make sure that I talk about everything I read in that month, and it's not necessarily everything I finished in that month, because that just means that you guys get to hear me talk more about more books. Hope that makes sense. Then after, Northern Lights I'm still reading. I've started a new book for Self-Pub September, a mostly audio read, although I have been enjoying it so much that I have picked up the ebook and I've been reading that as well when I haven't felt up to picking up the tome of Northern Lights. I don't know if I will go and try and get illustrated editions for the sequels for Northern Lights. I think I will probably just get the regular editions from the library. Nothing against this particular illustrated edition, and more just the convenience of having an ebook and a physical book that I can just pick up and put down. And I don't feel like when I'm reading Northern Lights, I haven't felt comfortable like getting a library ebook or a library audio book and going like, oh, I'll swap between the formats like I normally would do. I have just been reading the physical edition because I don't want to miss the illustrations, and then so that's why I haven't made as much progress in Northern Lights, despite it being quite a short book. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how this ends. Although I kind of know because I did watch the HBO show. But my memory of the HBO show is quite spotty, so I've been able to kind of semi go in blind. I don't know. Anyway, so let's talk about the videos that I made this month. So last month actually, because it's September now. So in August I made 8 videos. I showed you 4, 8 videos. My most popular video was weirdly my July wrap up. So the video that most people were interested in this month, I put out at the very beginning of the month. And then my least popular video was actually the first weekly wrap up of August. And I do wonder if that's because I was talking about primarily The Lost War by Justin Lee Anderson, because that series is I would say criminally underrepresented on BookTube, so that it's probable that the underrepresented series are underrepresented because audiences are not as interested in them either. So, c'est la vie. Anyway, so yeah, that was my most and least popular video for the month, and my Stats for the month were better than last month, so it was really nice to see a bit of a recovery. So 5.2 thousand views, then 550 hours of watch time, 34 subscribers, which is like double what I got in July. July, everybody was touching grass and not watching BookTube, I guess. And I got a revenue of £20.81, which is very nice. And I do want to say, I mean, I talked about a little bit about this in the BookTube 2-year anniversary video, that the channel has not been doing as well as I had hoped based on early performance. It's doing about how I expected it to do before I launched the channel. This is kind of where I thought I would be, but I had a real explosion where around like December 2023 through to like March 2024, and then everything dropped off a cliff, and I was like, oh, okay, this must be the slow period that booktubers have talked about, and it never came back. But that's fine, and I'm hoping that starting Malazan Book of the Fallen will bring in a new audience. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to talk about, like I said in that 2 years on BookTube video, genuinely, I'm hugely grateful to anyone who watches these videos, especially those of you who like and subscribe and drop comments below. All three of those actions do tell YouTube that my video is worth showing to people who aren't subscribed, who've never watched me before. And obviously that's the only way the channel can really grow. The more the channel grows, the more money I have to put into reading, and the more money I have to put into doing things like reading vlogs. So reading vlogs is the thing that I really want to do, but the way that I set up my videos to do filming, I actually think it's kind of difficult. It would really bring me out of the flow of reading to set up the camera, test the audio, shoot the 2 or 3 minutes worth of discussion, and then like go back to my book. Like that would really bring me out of the flow. So I think that if I do end up doing something like wanting to do reading vlogs, I'll probably buy a like little mini GoPro style action camera. I have other uses for it, but then I could just like quickly pick up the GoPro and be like, oh my god, just read this amazing scene, absolutely love it, let's keep moving. And then like I could actually update you guys as we go pro through these books. So that's something that I would like to do, but obviously those are expensive. So I've already invested a decent chunk of money into the channel by buying the microphones and tripods and stuff, and I kind of want to wait now until the channel has earned the money to pay for something like a action camera. So yeah, I'd like to do reading vlogs. That is genuinely, I would like to do it. I love watching reading vlogs. And I think I really wanted to do one for A Memory of Light, but like I was like 200 pages in before I thought about picking up the camera, because it was just it is a real like, I have to stop doing the activity I'm enjoying and start doing another thing. And I like making videos, and I think I would really enjoy reading vlogs, but yeah, we'll see. I just don't know yet. I do really want to though. If you would like to see some reading vlogs, the best way to do it is to like, comment, subscribe. No, it's just let me know in the comments if you'd like to see reading vlogs. I am considering moving to spoiler-filled reviews. Probably not for the Malazan books, or like not for like book ones in a series, but then I feel like from book twos onwards I might do like spoiler filled, because people don't really tend to watch a review unless they've read the book anyway. So I think that you may as well just start doing spoiler reviews. The reason why I hadn't done spoilers is because all the other creators were like, oh, spoiler content does really poorly. But like, if all your content does, like, if none of my content is going viral anyway, like, I might as well just make what I think you guys will enjoy the most. So yeah, that's the idea. Now, I did put up a little post on the community tab or whatever you call it with what I'm reading this month. But because it's Self-Pub September, I've built a TBR in advance, and I wanted to let you guys know what I'm going to be reading. So the book that I've started already is Time Marked Warlock by Shamie Stovall. I'm already quite far in. I'm like on chapter I don't know, I'm like 20% of the way through the book, and I started it yesterday. It's really good. It is just Dresden, it's not just Dresden Files. It's Dresden Files, but with a really neat, it's Dresden Files, but with a really neat trick that I really, really like. So yeah, if you like Dresden Files, then I would highly recommend, so far, trying out Time Marked Warlock. I keep wanting to say Time Locked, but it's Time Marked. And you'll find out why when you read the book. But yeah, really enjoying this series so far. And after Time Marked Warlock, I will be picking up probably either Where Darkness Gathers by Philip Chase, which is the sequel to the Adan trilogy, a standalone. I don't know if it's standalone. You probably have to have read the Adan trilogy. So I'll be reading that, or I'll be reading Shield of the Mothership by JCM Byrne. Both of those books are the latest entries in series that I absolutely love, and I think both of those series are on my top 10 all-time series. So I do hope that you will join me in reading those books if you are able. If you haven't read any of the Adan trilogy, or you haven't read any of the Hybrid Helix trilogy? It's a series, it's not a trilogy. If you haven't read any of the Hybrid Helix, all of them are on Kindle Unlimited, and I've also done full reviews for all of those books, and I've actually also done interviews with the authors. So I did a chat with Philip on his channel, and I've done a chat with Joe, JCM Byrne, on my channel, and I would like to line up some more of those this month if I can. I might see if I can reach out to Shamie Stovall and ask if she'd like to do a video on the channel as well, because this book is so much fun, and I instantly was like, what other stuff has she written? Because I want to read some more from her. So yeah, Self-Pub September. So it'll be one of the text-only books that I start after I finish Northern Lights. So the text-only ones, like I was saying, so these ones don't have audio books, and that's Where Darkness Gathers and Shield of the Mothership. And then I've also got lined up 2 more books that have audio. So I've got Matt Dinniman, Butcher's Masquerade, I think it's called, and that's book 5 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is now traditionally published, but I am going to take it as a self-published book. If you think that's unfair and I should swap it out for a self-published book, then please drop a suggestion in the comments. Needs to be audio. I need to have extra audio in my month. I did think about swapping it out for Rise of the Ranger by Philip C. Quaintrell, but starting a whole new series feels like dangerous territory. And obviously those books are longer than Dungeon Crawler Carl books, which are quite short. So yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then to wrap it up, I've got Death Tax by Andrew Givler. I'd love to get Andrew on the channel as well, because we're both huge Dresden Files fans, and I want to be like, oh, you should read Shamie Stovall because her stuff is great. Maybe we could get both of them together and do like an urban fantasy self-published chat. That could be really fun. I always feel bad asking someone to be on the channel when I haven't read all their books. I will have read all of the Deck Collection series by Andrew Givler when I've read Death Tax. Don't know what... I know that Kronos Chronicles, which is the name of the Time Marked Warlock series, is like 5 books. I need to read... Not 5 books. 3 books currently out, I think. So obviously, there's 2 more books to catch up on there. Hopefully, Shamie won't be mega upset to find out that I have not read all of them. Anyway, that was a lot of chat about September in my August wrap-up, so I'm going to cut there and say thank you so much for watching. As always, please tell me your number one read of August in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to be shown my new stuff when it goes live the second it does. I will see you on Friday for the weekly wrap up for this week. And then next Monday will be the Gate of the Feral Gods review. So hope you guys are having a great time out there. Have a lovely Wednesday, and I will speak to you on Friday.